Yo, 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 welcome back. Welcome back. Man. Yo. I just want to jump straight into it, y'all. It's the 8th Fireside chat. You already know. But, straight up, I gotta call myself out, man. So if you ever watch The Breakfast Club, you know Charlamagne the God has this thing called Donkey of the Day, right? And I probably would have got it because I was just looking foolish, man. I was emotionally reacting to a post, and though I wasn't wrong, the argument was just stupid, and I just look foolish, y'all. So let's go ahead and recap. I learned two valuable lessons today. One, Facebook just ain't the place for a debate, y'all. It really is not. I know, y'all have been trying to tell me this forever. I know people have been sitting there watching my posts like, no, not again. Here we go. And I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. I finally learned the lesson. Facebook just ain't that place, man. If you have ideas and thoughts that you want to get out, create a podcast, get a platform, join some organization, campaign. I don't know, do something, but don't do it on Facebook. That's really just become a cesspool for dirty memes, which are funny, and I love memes. You already know, but it's really just more of a place for just talking shit and having Michael Jordan versus LeBron James arguments because there is no answer except for Jordan. Jordan is always the answer. Stop playing with y'all. So you know it. Like Jordan's the GOAT. Like I don't even know why we're doing this. But anyways, I'm getting off subject. Anyways, so the first lesson, like I said, is do not debate on Facebook because it's just gonna be an unending conversation of back and forth bullshit. Which leads me to the second thing that I learned. Don't feed the trolls. Like it sounds so cliche, but don't feed the trolls, y'all. There are people who will jump on comments literally just to elicit a reaction and a response out of you. And the more of that reaction they get out of you, the more pleasure they derive from it. They are sadists, okay? They are technological sadists. I don't know if that is a term, but it is now. That is what they are, okay? So they get pleasure out of it. Don't feed into it like I did because you will be looking foolish. It got me so out of character. I was name calling. And though I wasn't wrong because the point that I was trying to prove wasn't even the point that they were trying to prove, because I don't know what they were doing, but I didn't disagree with what they were saying. I was actually helping their point along, but it doesn't matter. I was wrong for continuing the conversation. That was where I was wrong. That was my first mistake, engaging. So, if we have learned anything, let me be a cautionary tale to you that it is never a good thing to do if you are thinking about debating on Facebook. Don't do it. Just don't do it. State your piece and go. In fact, sometimes it's best to just turn off the notifications of a certain post because it's gonna bring you back. And if you're like me, you're gonna keep going back. Well, not anymore. I've learned my lesson. No, I'm just playing. But yeah. So, anyways, aside from that, I want to kind of talk a little bit about this Breonna Taylor situation because it's kind of got me feeling very, very, very weird. So, her name came up in a warrant, even though she's never had a criminal record. But her name came up because it was sworn in an affidavit that a guy knows that one of the people who was in the warrant for actually doing criminal activity used to get mail sent there, and he saw him walking there with a suspected USPS package, and then he left and then went to a so-called dope house. So they're thinking there was an exchange or something like that. So that's how they were able to put her on there, and that's how they were able to go in there without actually announcing, even though they said they did announce. Neighbors say they didn't announce, so I don't really know who to believe. Am I going to believe the police who have a history of consistently lying to cover up their tracks? Or am I going to believe these neighbors who really don't have a reason to lie other than no reason at all? So, yeah, very hard. But regardless, they were able to access the house and they were able to fire shots because they were being shot at. Now, if you're like me, you're like, well, duh. If you enter my house without saying shit, I'm going to shoot back. Like, I'm going to shoot at you. Like, what the fuck? I have the right to defend my home if I am a lawful gun owner. And, well, she ends up getting killed and he ends up going to jail because guess he shot an officer. I don't even know all the charges. I don't know. The thing that I'm really like trying to think about is the no not warrant in itself. Like, it seems to be a violation of the Constitution, but the Supreme Court deemed that it wasn't because it could be used as a means of preventing somebody from being able to dispose of things, or because criminals like to flee. It was just stupid reasoning that I'm just like, that doesn't really, that just seems like a bullshit justification to allow cops a little bit more authority than they're supposed to have. So though it's not unconstitutional, it just seems wrong that you could have a hunch. Like, you don't even have to have the right evidence. That you could just have a hunch that something might have happened, something might happen, or something possibly has gone down within a certain amount of time, and now you want to catch this person, so you want to catch them off guard, and you can just go into their house because the judge can sign off on a no not warrant. Like, it seems just, it seems very suspect. I really want to look back into that one. Not me, but I want like Supreme Court or others to be like, yo, isn't this like just a violation of our civil liberties, which, you know, we're supposed to still kind of have? I don't know, but it got me going through a little rabbit hole of no not warrants and people who have been shot. Because I'm like, I only hear about the black people who keep getting shot. And ABC News had this pretty good report, and it had 20 different victims. I almost said suspects. I'm sorry. 20 different victims who have been shot by police who wrongfully entered their house. You know, Botham Jean was on there. Atati, I'm sorry, I don't know how to say her name. Jefferson, she was on there. And it, but what surprised me was there was a surprisingly high amount of white people who were on there. Not saying that it doesn't surprise me that there are white people on there. I guess it just surprised me that there were so many, because you don't hear about any of them. And then it kind of like made me realize that maybe there is some truth to the point that the media likes to overhype certain narratives to point a race war picture, like to just point it out, like this is what's going on, even though there's more to the story. You know what I'm saying? Because there was an even bigger connecting factor between a lot of the victims that didn't have anything to do with race. A lot of them were veterans, and that was just interesting. It's like, why? Like, why is it a surprisingly large amount of these people veterans? But whatever. So it's like, yeah, the media is definitely out here trying to paint certain pictures. So I'm not denying that, but I'm also not denying that there's structural, systematic racism. I couldn't say it. I don't know why. It just doesn't sound right. However I say it. But so systemic issues or whatnot that plague most of the institutions, and that got me thinking about something that I wanted to do. Probably like about a year and a half ago. Yeah, about a year and a half ago. I thought about wanting to do this series called Open Minded Debates, where I would debate certain people on topics that, had opposing viewpoints in mind, and then I would also get other people who just had two opposing viewpoints and let them go at it. And I still want to set that up. It's a little bit harder right now in the midst of a pandemic to get people here to do that. I guess we could do, live stream and stuff like that, but I just don't feel like that would have the same effect. I want it to be two people in front of each other actually having a civil conversation about why they differ on what they see as reality. I think that would be dope, but like I said earlier, not a Facebook debate where we're just talking over each other. We're just kind of trying to prove we're right. Nah, that's not what I'm looking for. I don't want to be right. I want to find truth, and I want to understand the context at all times. All times. So, last thing I wanted to talk about real quick before I get into jamming and watching is the stimulus update. Like, I don't know what the fuck y'all are doing. Just being honest. Like, why isn't there anything else coming down the pipeline as far as resources for people? And are y'all saying, like, since you're just opening shit back up, that there's not going to be a revisit of things? Are we just at that point now? Because I don't know if we've done the proper amount of testing, and with what is it, HR 666 Yeah, four sixes. I don't want to go too far, but 6666. Yeah, the Trace Act or whatnot. It gives you the the ability to go into medically underserved communities and do testing on individuals, and then can do self quarantine. And I just feel like giving that kind of power and ability to certain people and allowing them to go into certain neighborhoods, it's never really traditionally turned out well. You know what I mean? So maybe, just maybe, we should not, vote this bill in. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe trace testing can be discovered another way other than forcing your way into people's houses and then saying fuck you, you have to stay here for 14 days. Like it just seems like another way of intruding. Like I don't know what it is, like why the government obviously consistently wants to get more and more and more into our pockets, into our homes, into our minds and all this other kind of shit. But it feels like it feels like maybe we should step the fuck back for a second and realize like, hey, we have the power as the people. You know what I mean? Like I know we understand that, but we never really put it to practice. You know what I'm saying? Like we can demand better from our government. We should demand better from our government. Ask them what happened to the past $5.5 trillion they just injected for no reason in the past month and a half. Just ask them what happened to that, other than the $1,200 that some of us might have seen, and aside from a little bit of the unemployment some of us might have seen, and then a botched up SBA PPP program. Like I don't really understand what's going on. So we have to demand better. We have to demand better. And it starts with, people like me, like calling out people like my governor, like Brian Kemp. You are horrible at your job. You should have stuck to the one that you had prior. Because when it comes to business, to a degree, you kind of understand it. Actually, you did pretty good. You had Georgia like number one, I believe, is the best place to start a small business for like 5 years in a row. Go back to doing those kind of things and stop trying to lead this state, because obviously you are not qualified, son. You are ill equipped. You have botched every turn. You have not called out people. You even had the audacity to say thanks to the swift response by the GBI when it came to the Ahmaud Arbery thing. And I'm sitting here like, this shit happened February 23rd when you could have been done called the Glenn County sheriffs to get these people. But nah, it took an outcry from not only the state but the whole fucking nation for you to finally address some shit. So Joe Biden addressed it before you. Like, come on, bruh. So yeah, we need better. We need better. Anyways, so yeah, what I'm jamming. So I decided to take a different path when it came to my hip hop taste in the past week, and I decided like, you know what? I've been talking a lot about these new age artists, and I don't really like them, this, that, and the other, but I don't really give them that much of a shot. So I listened to this album by G Herbo, PTSD, and to be honest, I was pleasantly surprised. It was a really, really decent album. There were some songs on there I was like, not really for me, but like lyrically, it definitely captivated me a lot. And there was a lot of realness and authenticity to it. I felt a lot of the lines in there as just being true to the artist, and I really always loved that. And it got me just opening my mind and my perspective to this younger generation. And I got to stop that old hip hop head hating type shit. You know what I'm saying? It just ain't cool. So I listened to his album, and then I went and listened to Rod Wave because he's been on a big wave lately, and a lot of people have been talking about him. And I'm like, all right, cool. Let me hear this Pray for Love. And I was like, damn, all right. I've been sleeping on Rod Wave. Like I said, man, if y'all see my Facebook, you might have seen that post where I was like, I went from, man, Rod Wave is alright to, I'm gonna die in these Cuban links. I don't know what it is. That man be going in. That man be going in. So shouts out to Rod Wave's album. And I also got a chance to listen to a friend of mine, C Swins. Yeah, he raps, and he's a hometown guy someone comes from where I stay or whatnot, just dropped the album. It's on Spotify. Y'all definitely go check it out. It's called The Battle. I enjoyed it. Trust the vibe. Dope song. Like the beat, really really smooth. But like there's so many messages that he's just delivering. So shouts out to him. I love seeing my hometown heroes and my local people like putting in that work. That shit is beautiful. Shouts out. So real quick, what I'm watching. So I just jumped onto Community. I know it's taking me a long time. It's got so many people I fuck with, especially Donald Glover. Like he is too fucking funny on here. So it's a really really good show. Like I said, I'm a series guy. I can't help it. I just jump into series and stuff like that. I'm watching Afro Samurai, even though it's only 5 episodes. About to finish the last one today. Love it. Need more. I know there's supposedly a second season. Haven't been able to find it anywhere, but there is a movie Resurrection, so I gotta watch that. But y'all, that shit's dope. Dope. Love it. What else was it? Oh yeah, Last Dance. So obviously, like I said earlier, MJ dope, better than LeBron. We know this, but apparently, Last Dance is starting to show other people. And then, like Shannon wants to say, it hasn't changed anything for him. Obviously, to him, LeBron's a goat. He's wrong, but it's cool because I enjoy watching him. He's a very funny person. I got much love and respect for Unc, but he's wrong. He's wrong. You know what I'm saying? It's MJ. Look, we don't even need the last 2 episodes to just prove that it's MJ. It's MJ. You know this, man. But anyways, Last Dance, last 2 episodes aired this Sunday, and it's been a pretty decent documentary. I've really enjoyed it. I didn't realize, yes, how big of an asshole Michael Jordan was, but I do start to realize now what it takes to be great. Um, they said the same thing about Kobe. Now, Brady apparently seems to be a different animal. He doesn't really seem to just be in your face. I'm going to whoop your ass if you don't do this and play right type kind of guy. But he still has that psycho Tom in him, I guess they call it. So, I don't know. There's just a certain level that people have to accelerate themselves to get to greatness. And, you got to respect them. And if you're going to be part of that ride, you just got to understand there's certain things that are going to come with it. So, to get on out of here, I want to say something to kind of piggyback off of the first thing I was talking about, the 2 lessons that I learned about not debating on Facebook and not feeding the trolls. And we've been quarantined for a minute now, and I know a lot of people have been like exiled to the Facebook and to Twitter and to Instagram, and it's just like, oh man, I'm on here all day long. We need to take breaks. Do not forget, like, take a break. You're not going crazy. You're just filling your head with so much negativity that is causing you to feel off. And sometimes you just need to turn it all off. Get away from it. Leave it alone. Stop messing with it. Log out. Deactivate. Whatever it is that you need to do, just turn it off for a little bit. Turn the phone off. Turn social media off. Turn the news off. Turn me off. It doesn't matter. If it helps you just kind of get your mind back on track, then you need to do that. Because we don't know what's going on still. We don't know how much longer it's going on. We're trying to ease back in, but I have a feeling that when winter hits, we're going to try to ease back in. You know what I mean? So it's going to be very, very difficult. So, like I said, just take care of yourselves mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, all the ways that you can. We'll do the same. Much love to everybody out there. You already know. Joseph, babe.